Did you just wave at the camera?
I was at 3 centimeters. Three. Oh, I felt transformed. She's like really chill now.
Hey everyone, welcome to The Cole Life. Today we would like to introduce the newest addition to our family and the newest member of The Cole Life. Her name is Asa Isabella Cole, and she is our beautiful, beautiful little girl.
Look at her smiling.
Who makes the funniest faces in life. She was born, April 10th at 4 a.m.
4:02 a.m.
Last week we posted a video that showed the actual birth of our baby at home. And today we really want to just talk about the actual story behind it. Give a little bit of a narration, a little commentary to our thought processes, what happened, how we got through it, and how God worked in an incredible way behind our story. And also, we just wanted to show off our little baby to you too. Isa, say hi to everyone. Did you just wave at the camera? And a special thank you to Asa's godmom, Janae, Natu Curley, who got her this cute little shirt that says, newest member of the Cole Life. All right, Asa, your initiation is officially complete. Welcome.
Before labor, I was like intensely praying to God. Like I was meditating, I was praying, I was listening to worship music. Like I do that anyway, but I was going in a very intense level, especially with this time of isolation. Like I just wanted to get my mind mentally, spiritually, emotionally prepared for labor and delivery. God gave me peace about doing this home birth, and I just started to put a demand on God about what exactly I wanted, right? So I was praying that I was going to have a 40-week term. Like I'm not going to go over. I'm going to do exactly 40 weeks or earlier, but I was praying to God for that. I was believing in God for a quick and, fast, safe delivery. I was believing in God that pain free. I was, I had the Supernatural Childbirth book, which is an excellent book, but I was just, I was saying my confessions every night. I was believing in God. Like I had so many things on my list that I was believing in God for when it came to specifically labor and delivery. And I felt like none of them came to pass.
And my only request of God on my side was just don't let the labor start at the end of a very long day at night where we have to start the process when we're already tired.
And you guys saw our video. They started at 8 p.m. April 8th. And when I say that I had a 32-hour labor, I think sometimes people think that you have contractions or you have a surge and 30 minutes later you have another one. That was not my story. At 8 p.m. I was having surges every 5 to 6 minutes, and they were all lasting a minute, if not longer.
And we were told that active labor, which is when you're about 6 centimeters dilated, that's when you should be feeling them around every 5 minutes, for a minute, for an hour consistently. And we were just about at that point at 8 p.m. when it started getting strong.
Y'all remember Brian was like, we're believing that we're going to have this baby at the end of the night. And I was like,
It's time tomorrow night?
I wasn't saying that because I was thinking that was too crazy. I was saying that because I thought that was too long.
That's too long.
That's too long. I don't think people pick that up.
Wow. Let's go for it.
I was like, this is too long. That's too long.
You're like, I'm
the
getting
morning.
6 hours.
8 a.m. is when, we started to gather around our family. Our midwife came, and my friend Janae came like 3 a.m. in the morning to help Brian with me. By that time, she checked me, and I was like, I'm going to be super close. Like, I know.
Keep in
I'm
mind,
super close.
It's been 12 hours of labor. And these surges are getting stronger, and they're getting closer, and they're lasting longer. So we're confident we're in a really good place as far as
Because I was
dilation.
believing. I'm like, God's got me. Like, I know. These are happening fast for a reason. She checked me, and I was at 3 centimeters. 3?
3.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll progress a little bit more as time goes on. It just needed a little pickup. I'm just going to, I'm going to figure it out. And so, long story short, I'm doing a lot of movement. I'm walking around. I'm, going up and down the stairs.
We're with family. We're
worshiping.
We're
doing
walking.
all this stuff. I'm trying to make sure that I'm moving, but also maybe resting a little bit, but making sure my body, my pelvic, I'm doing all these things. 12 or 1 p.m. I'm like, okay, she's gonna check me again, and I'm gonna be like close. She said I hit 1 extra centimeter, so I was at 4 centimeters.
So we're about 17 hours in, or somewhere around there, and we've only gotten to 4 centimeters.
I was distraught. Like I wasn't at a point where I was at a breaking point, but I had a moment where at 1 o'clock, I told Brian to just like lay down, just get some rest. And part of that was because I figured it was going to be a long labor. And when he rested, I literally broke down in tears. And I wasn't breaking down in tears because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this is happening to me. It was just like I had to let go of that one thing that I was really believing in God for. Out of the many, that was my main, was that I was not going to have a long labor and delivery. And I had to let go of that and realize that I may be here for a while. I wiped my tears and I'm like, okay, I still got a lot of other stuff I'm praying for. So I'm just going to push past this and I'm going to keep it moving. 5 o'clock passed. 6 o'clock passed.
Now we're at 8 o'clock. 24 hours. Full 24 hours. And keep in mind, I've gotten about 2 hours of sleep. I was able to rest around 6 a.m. for an hour and sometime in the afternoon for about an hour. I was working with Lexi constantly, except those couple hours that I was able to rest. I can't imagine how tired she was. Yeah. I mean, if I'm tired, if I'm fatigued, if I'm experiencing the level of exhaustion that I was experiencing, which was something like I've never experienced before, because you're always on. Yeah. Like you saw in the videos, like I'm pressing on her hips, I'm pressing on her back. I'm, it's very physically demanding to even support her. So if I'm going through this, I can't imagine the level of physical trauma and stress that her body's going through and her fatigue levels are at.
And I was tired at 24 hours. Like 24 hours does something to me in my head. Like it did something to me in my head where I'm like, I've been in labor for 24 hours. And let's also remember that I was up the whole day before labor even started.
We've been awake for almost 40 hours.
We've been awake for almost 40 hours. I got to a breaking point around like 11 or 12, and that was like my big breaking point where my water didn't break. I'm still at 4 centimeters. I am tired. I'm done. I felt like I was done. And at this point, I felt like God completely left me. God, I asked for so many things to happen, and it seems like you're not showing up or doing anything that I'm asking. And it started to weigh on me because I'm like, man, it took me a while to get pregnant. I did IVF. I, didn't get the birthing plan that I wanted because I'm in this pandemic. And then I had to change my home birth to another location 3 weeks before. And it seems like 2 weeks before. Or was it a week before? I think it was a week before.
It was a week before.
I'm constantly having to show. I'm like, God, I've shown you that you are in control. I'm not in control of this. Why did this have to be long as well? Why did this have to happen to me as well? Now I'm feeling like God is changing the whole plan. Maybe I shouldn't be doing a home birth. Maybe I should go to the hospital because maybe a home birth is prideful. Maybe this is prideful. Maybe I should just try to see what the hospitals are saying. I shouldn't care what's happening. I don't care what y'all think. Like in my mind, I was just trying to make it up somehow. Like, what is it? What is God saying? And you start to make up stuff. And by that time, Brian was just in a place where I'm telling him, like, I'm tired. Like, I'm exhausted.
I could see in her eyes, like, her eyes are, like, spaced out. It looks like she's delusional and almost hallucinating because she can't even focus her eyes. And I just kept, like, holding her. I said, look at me in the eyes. Look at me in the eyes. And she would finally find my eyes, and I would just keep telling her, you are my hero. Like, you are my superhero. And I kept trying to impart words into her and encouragement to her, but it was like it wasn't even really registering at all. It wasn't going through. So there was a point where she just looked at me and goes, Brian, I'm so tired. And the way that she said it, I've just never, ever seen her in that place before. And it, like, crushed my soul to hear her say that. Witnessing all of this and not being able to, especially as a husband who is responsible for her safety, responsible for her protection and her comfort, I can't take any of this on. I can't take any of her burden away from her. And to see for this long, we're at 30 hours at this point, or however many hours, 28, to see her go through this consistently every 4 minutes, every 5 minutes, and to see that level of physical trauma that her body's enduring for so long, it took such a toll. It ripped my heart out. And there was a point that I was helping her with her surges, and I'm, working with her. Surge is done, and I just look at her and I go, babe, I will be right back. I literally left the room and ran to my parents and just buckled and just absolutely broke. I couldn't handle it. In that moment, it was so overwhelming to see her go through all this and not be able to do anything about it, and to see her struggle and not even see a way out. It was just this point of, we stay here and keep working through this process, but she's going to keep experiencing this heightened level of discomfort and this physical trauma, or we go to a hospital and relieve that pain, but now we're in a completely different environment that we didn't want to be in. We're dealing with an environment that the coronavirus is very heavily involved in, and I may not even be able to go back with her, and we may not be able to even see our baby for the first day or two. I don't know what to do, but I only have 5 minutes because I'm not about to let her see me struggling. And I talk to my parents. They pray with me, they help me, and they encourage me. My friends, my brother, my cousin come around me. They punch me in the chest, tell me, we got this, get it together, you can do this. They encourage me, and I wipe away the tears, and I get back in there.
By the time that he came back, we talked to our midwife, and we talked about therapeutic rest, which is going to get epidural, because I was tired. I was like, I just need to know my options at this point, because Brian came back, I was still in the same place. And she said, I'm suggesting we break your water. And I said, well, we don't know how long, what will that do? And she said that it's just going to make the surges more intense, and it will progress labor, but we need to have something more intense than what you're doing right now. We need kind of intense. And I'm like, well, how long does intense take?
Because, it's been almost 12 hours with no progression.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is not, I don't know how long this can take, and I don't know how long I can make it. I was at my weakest point. They said they're going to give us some time. They walked away, and we kind of, just kept having a moment, and it was just me and Brian, and I didn't say much, but I felt that at that moment, at my weakest point, and I couldn't hear God throughout the time that I was tired. But at this point, he told me, he was like, I got you. Break the water. They came back in the room, and I was like, all right, let's do it. And all of a sudden, as soon as they broke that water, they tried the first time and it didn't break. And she said that I had one of the thickest sacs ever, because it was so hard to break the first time. She tried the second time and it broke. And I can feel how hard it was for her to break it. And I was like, that's weird. But as soon as they broke it, I felt like my eyes just widened, and I got this I felt like my eyes dilated, my pupils dilated. I was just like, whoa. All of a sudden, I just had this supernatural strength to keep going. That happened at 1:00.
Yeah.
And I want to say at 3:30, 3:45, I started pushing. 5 pushes?
5 push. I mean, we went from 4 centimeters to 9 or 10 in a matter of 3 hours.
Yeah. God came through as far as helping the progression. We found out that my sac was very, very thick. It was confirmed by 3 different people that
which is a good thing. It was very healthy.
Yeah, they said that shows that I had a very nutritious sac, which is great, but that's probably what stopped my progression.
It was preventing the sac, without it breaking, it was preventing the baby from really descending and getting lower and being able to move that birthing process forward. And the sac was just preventing it from moving.
After I had that baby, I felt like I transformed, because I started to realize why God was doing it. After I was done, I looked around the room and I just saw how many people watched me trust God through it all. They saw me in my breaking point when I was down, and I didn't even know what to do. When I was telling them to go home because I didn't even want them to see this anymore. They saw those things. They saw me rise up. They saw me all of a sudden have this supernatural strength. They watched this whole process, and it wasn't just inspiring for me. It was inspiring for all these people that were around me. And that changed my life. Like, I felt transformed. And all the things that I went through to have this child, I felt like God has honestly put it on a platform for people to see, but also He's changed me in each way, showing me that I have capacity to go past what I think I can do. I thought that I was just doing a quick delivery. I wanted a quick, fast labor because I thought that's what I can do. That's what I can bear. God, you know what I can do. You know that I can't handle anything more than, more than I can bear. That's it. This is my limit. And He was saying, I'm trying to show you that you have a capacity that is so much stronger, so much bigger than you think. And I literally felt my transformation. I felt that God was showing me that you can do so much more. You don't know what you can do. And if I were to have given you this quick, fast delivery, you would not have experienced the transformation I'm trying to show you right now. Mm-hmm. So that was my spiritual experience. That was my supernatural childbirth. It wasn't like, everybody else's where they may have done it in 1 hour and God came. It was this point where it's like, no, I'm going to take you through a journey of how I can stretch you and show you that you can stretch further than you think.
If we were to have had the childbirth that we were believing for, it would have been a testimony. It would have been a testimony of faith. It would have been a testimony of putting a demand on God and Him responding to that. But we had a different testimony that God was planning for us.
Yeah.
He may have given that testimony to other people, and that is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Our story was not supposed to be that story. The story that God had for us in the journey that He wanted to bring Lexi through, and the ability for everyone to be a part of that and witness that and be encouraged in their own self. It's a story. It's a different result. It's a different success story about capacity instead of faith.
Yeah.
And
not getting what you prayed for, and
that being okay, because we've talked a lot about this in the past, but our faith over the years has increased from just believing in something that you want to believing in it, but if God doesn't give it, then we still have trust in Him as a father. I can request what I want and believe with everything that I have for it. If it's not His will and He wants to do things differently, we're okay with that. We're not questioning His goodness. We're not questioning His love for us. We're not questioning His ability and capacity and of His own self. We're just saying that you know better. So whatever you want for us, we'll take on. God, your story is better than our story.
And it really is. I'm so thankful that He doesn't just listen to me, but He knows what's best for me. And that was my testimony. That's why I wanted to share with you guys, because it's just one of those moments where you saw the progression, but now you know our thought process on it, and you know what we were going through emotionally, spiritually. And I hope this just teaches you to just be prepared for whatever God has for you and trust Him through it all. God prepared me for it even when I didn't know what I was doing. Let me tell you something. Before we leave, Brian helped a ton. He was my rock. He was like the best support system. I appreciate you.
I love you. Ow.
I could not have done it without him. You were absolutely amazing.
I was tired.
You were tired.
We did it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I was very tired. No, I was very tired. We just appreciate you all so much. Thank you for watching this video, and tell us what you think about our journey. How did you feel about it? Tell us what it did for you, if it did anything for you, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you later.
Watch next week. We'll have more videos of this little one, and we'll actually get to see her little personality.
Yeah. I love you guys.
Love you.
Bye. She's like really chill now.